which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call, please.
Trustee Snagowski.
Here.
Stapleton.
Here.
Kittredge. Here. Maher.
Here.
McClafferty.
Here.
Shaughnessy.
Here.
Okay, great, thanks, Linda. Before we kick off the consent agenda, George, looks like we have a couple of adjustments, right?
Yeah, a couple. I have an amendment to the agenda. I'd just like to bring up to the group, and then if I can have a motion in a second, we can discuss it, Mr. Mayor. But making a recommendation to table items V, J, and V, K. Those are the last two items on the agenda related to the elevated water storage tank and then the engineering services agreement. We do have an additional 20 days or so it'll give us an opportunity to bring that up at the Committee of the Whole next Monday, and then bring up for approval towards the end of the month. Mike Stillman recommended that we keep it open-ended and flexible on the date, so just table in general. Mike,
That's
recommend?
right, yeah. Motion to table in general, and then you just bring it off the table when you're ready to go.
Okay.
Correct.
All right, sounds good. So it's J and K, correct?
J and K, and then recommend we can discuss it at the Committee of the Whole on Monday.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
So move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Stapleton, seconded by trustee Maher. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Okay, so J and K have been amended. With that being said, we're going to continue on with the consent agenda. We have, first off, approval of minutes for the Village Board Committee of the Whole meeting on March 21st. We have the minutes for the Village Board meeting on April 11th. Approval of disbursements from April 12th through May 9th. In addition, we have a resolution R-12-22 for the maintenance under the Illinois Highway Code. We have a resolution R-13-22 authorizing the purchase of services and equipment to upgrade the village boardroom. Need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Shaughnessy, seconded by trustee Maher. Do we have anything to add? Any questions by the trustees, comments? I know I'm happy because I think I've just about broke my neck a couple times with these chairs, so looking forward to the new chairs.
We
But
got it from trustee McClafferty to have our electrician put in some outlets up here.
Okay.
That would help for these
All right.
long meetings we're about to have.
All right.
So we're gonna do that.
What's that? What long meeting?
Yeah, great. All right.
New long meetings?
Okay, I already did the motion, correct? So we need a roll call, please.
Snagowski.
Yes.
Stapleton.
Yes.
Kittredge. Yes. Maher.
Yes.
McClafferty.
Yes.
Shaughnessy.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved. Next up, we got the mayor's report, and to kick off the mayor's report, we have a very special honor tonight. We're here tonight to honor Frank Wozniak, a selfless contributor to the village of Lamont, as well as the Lamont Township and his country as a whole. Frank was a lifelong resident. He passed away this past March, unfortunately, at the young age of 88. He was a graduate of Lamont High School. He served in the U.S. Army in the Korean War and enjoyed a 45-year career at Corn Products. Frank served on the Lamont Township Board for a period of 40 years from 1980 to 2020. He served on the Village of Lamont Liquor Control Review Board for 40 years from 1980 through 2020 as well. He was a member of the Lockport American Legion Post 18, the Lamont VFW Post 5819, and was on the Holy Name Society at St. Cyril as well. In 2018, Frank received the Honor 200 Veteran Award as part of the Illinois Bicentennial Celebration for going above and beyond and serving his fellow veterans and his community. He is remembered as a humble man and felt the call to serve his community, not for recognition, but out of the goodness of his heart. Those of us that knew him know what a very special person he was and and how he meant so much to so many people. We celebrate Frank Wozniak tonight for his dedication to Lamont Township and the village of Lamont, So we're acknowledging it with an honorary street sign in his name to be placed on Eureka Street. Linda, you want to hold that up? That's going right on Eureka. I like it. In addition, Kathy, do you want to come up and say a couple words as well? I always appreciated Frank. I got to know Frank when I became mayor. He was on the Liquor Control Board. And when the applicants would come in, I'd always say, Frank has to do the first taste test. Frank's like, heck yeah, I'm doing it. But I really enjoyed spending, time with Frank. I know I miss him. The Liquor Control Board misses him, but I know his family does more than anyone, and so does our community as well. So with that being said, go ahead, Kath.
Okay, I personally was proud to serve with Frank as a trustee on the Lamont Township Board. I wanted to mention that Frank was also a Lamont High School alumni, so that's kind of cool that he lived here that long. He actually went to Lamont High. I know you mentioned many of the things I was going to say, but on the township side, Frank won 10 terms, 10 four-year terms he served, so he did resign a little bit early of that last term for health reasons, but he never missed a meeting. There were times when he came in, he was not feeling well, and you could tell, but he came to all the meetings and he contributed, and we were always grateful to have Frank on the board. He was a world of knowledge about the history of the community, and so it was awesome to serve with Frank in that way. I was lucky enough to attend the celebration for the 2000 bicentennial Illinois celebration at Navy Pier with Frank and his wife Anna, who's here tonight, and his sister Teresa is here also, I want to mention, along with the rest of the family. But yeah, Frank and had the time of his life that night. He was always a lot of fun to serve with. I think that Frank was, I know for sure Frank was proud to be a Lamont resident. He was proud to serve Lamont in many, many ways, which I won't even go into how many awards he won, and rightfully so. He was awesome. I'm sure everyone here will agree that Frank was very proud to call Lamont his home, and we are extremely proud to have this street named after him, and we're very grateful to the village for doing this, because we did receive a request to do this, but we don't have the authority of the village streets to make it happen, so we're so grateful that you're honoring Frank like this tonight. We at the township love him very, very much, and we're just really proud to have that street named after him. We're doing a few things at the township, but nothing as exciting as having a street named after him, so thank you very much.
Oh, thanks, Kathy. And again, Frank was a very proud man. I really enjoyed being with him, and I know he's looking down on us. So with that being said, Anna, do you want to join us? We can get the family, we'll do a picture.
We gotta figure out a place for photos, George. Yeah. Right under that picture would be great. Have to kill some chairs. Yeah. What we need is just take a picture of that in the background.
let me know
What time
when
we're
we're
place, put these
You
in
tell me,
the,
just you want to text me in the morning?
yeah,
you know?
in front of it, yeah.
I could do the mural, we'll get chairs.
Do the mural and then do a whiteboard.
Right. And you
And then you lay the picture in front of it.
Right,
You
you
know,
know, getting like a logo or something, but here you couldn't. We're running out of rooms, running out of walls.
I know. But if we did take that last row or somehow move these chairs up a little bit, you could make room to slide people in back there, or on the left-hand side, and then just superimpose it, like you said, on a white background.
That's too many.
Good night.
Aye.
Good night. Okay, continuing on, with the mayor's mention, we do have a public hearing for an annexation agreement for Glen Eagles. Need a motion to open the public hearing, please.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion by trustee Snagowski, seconded by trustee Kittredge. All right. At exactly what, 6:42 PM. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. The motion is passed. Jason, are you taking this?
Thank you, Mayor and Board. I was asked just to provide some updates to the plan that's before us tonight at the start of this public hearing. So I just have a somewhat brief list of some things that have been evolving since this plan went to the Planning and Zoning Commission and the Committee of the Whole. Most importantly is the extensive architectural elements that have been added along the way. There's now 9 single-family floor plans. Each floor plan has 6 different elevations. There are additional key and through lots, as requested by the board, throughout the subdivision. There's also an option to have masonry wainscot on all 4 sides around the key lots. There will be masonry on all 4 sides around the key lots. Of course, as you already know, there's no vinyl permitted in the subdivision. It's all LP smart siding. There is all brick first floor option for the single-family homes, and as you know, the duplexes are also required to have first floor brick around them. All the elevations will have multiple fenestration options, and we've worked with our consulting planner, Jamie Tate, to finalize the color packages for this development, which is in the agenda later on. Most importantly, Jamie worked extensively to finalize the anti-monotony matrix. This subdivision absolutely meets the village's anti-monotony code. It meets the UDO. It was a lot of effort on Jamie and Pulte's part, but they were able to look at every lot and every option and can confirm that it will meet our village code. As the board requested, there will be an option for finished basements in the duplexes. And, just to note that all of the homes have 10-foot minimum side yards. Another recent addition is all the homes will have concrete driveways. We know that was something important for the character of the community, and that was added. In addition, there's full width roadways throughout, full 66-foot right-of-way. There remains a future water tower site on the east side of the property, and as part of the village's water system, this project will be looped as requested by the village engineer. We continue to work with the village arborist on tree preservation. It's important for us. We continue to find new opportunities to preserve additional trees. We'll also work with the Lamont Park District on their Park District site and creating a really exceptional amenity for the community there. We required extensive additional path connections throughout the subdivision. There's now over 3 miles of paths in this subdivision, and that doesn't include the sidewalk. That's the paths that wind through there. The McCarthy Road path, we pushed to increase that to 10 feet wide, which is important for future connectivity for us. And the developer will donate 50 feet of right-of-way to IDOT as part of that. So with that kind of quick rundown of what staff has been working on over the past month or so. If there's any questions, feel free, or we could carry on.
I have one question, only in as much as, I just want to know if it changed or not.
Yeah.
This is regarding the masonry wainscot, brick and stone veneer. In that line, it says it shall be anchored veneer. I know at one time we talked about the lick and stick versus foundation
Right, yeah,
built
yeah,
up.
no.
So what are we doing?
Anchored.
What does that mean?
It means that it has,
Is it lick and stick or is it sitting on the foundation? That's all I need to know.
no, actually I'll have to let you address the developer on that for sure.
Okay. Is that it? I only want to know if it changed.
I don't believe it has.
Yeah, no, nothing changed from our end there.
So you poured a foundation and the brick and/or stone is sitting on the foundation?
Correct.
Okay, that's all I want to know. Thank you.
It's real.
There you go, thanks. Thanks, Jason.
I know we've gone
real.
through many iterations and issues of this project, and the landowners, you know, they reached out to me several years ago, and they were, you know, they had various options. We're not going to go into the history of what's gone on there. I think everyone in Lamont that's been in this town for more than 4 or 5 years understands the history of what's, you know, has transpired. But, you know, I've been, you know, again, I want to thank staff, especially board members as well. Rick was joking about the length of the meetings. I think quite a few of them related to this development. Want to reach out, you know, again, we have to vote on this. Nothing's a done deal, but we've beat this thing up pretty good. And I think that the process has been about as thorough as we can make it. I also want to thank the Kensington HOA. Is anyone from Kensington, the HOA? But they were, you know, obviously this is right across the street from them. We've had some landowners, appreciate their input. They had some, you know, issues, questions. They understand, hey, you know, first thing we understand is we know this landowner can sell, and we're not questioning that. They just want to make the best possible, you know, project out of it, and we appreciate, you know, working with the Kensington HOA as well. So, again, this is just the public hearing of it. I'm sure we might have some more, you know, comments and questions as we vote on this, but anything else from any of the other trustees? All right.
Mr. Mayor, just real quick, I know you mentioned the Kensington email, and a lot of their concerns and questions were regarding McCarthy Road. The two main entrance points will be off of McCarthy Road, about 1,000 feet apart, two full entrances into the subdivision. Just wanted to make sure that the turn lanes and the, you know, drainage doesn't interact or interfere with where they are a little bit west of there. And I know the developers made themselves available, and we could share plans as well. IDOT, you know, credit to the developer for doing some very early outreach with IDOT. You know, as we know, those processes take several weeks, months, years. But they got a lot of good feedback. There's going to be substantial improvements to McCarthy Road. I know we talked a lot about speeding and traffic and safety. You know, not formally submitting to IDOT, but we have used the police department's equipment, and thanks, Chief, for studying the speed on McCarthy Road. Based on IDOT standards, we don't believe it warrants a reduction in speed yet. And if we submitted, we're going to get turned down, and even worse, it could go, the speed limit could go up. You never know with IDOT, with their rules. So we're going to keep monitoring it, though. We'll check it again. We have the equipment in-house, and maybe during construction or when people start to move in there, if it moves forward, we'll get a favorable result, submit it to IDOT. But we're continuing to look at McCarthy Road, and we'll see probably a little bit more at final engineering stage as well. But full turn lanes, a minor widening in both directions, right-hand turn lanes, left-hand. So McCarthy Road will be substantially improved as part of this development on the developer's dime.
And that was pretty much the board's, you know, as well as mine. You know, safety is the number one concern, right? And, you know, it is not quote-unquote a village road, it's IDOT, correct? And IDOT has jurisdiction over that. IDOT has jurisdiction over the speed limit. If it was up to us, I think all of us would like to lower it, at least 5, if not 10 miles per hour. We do not have that jurisdiction. That's something we're going to have to work with IDOT on, and I think, you know, they'll come around in time. It just can't be done immediately. We have to take things in steps here. So we recognize that as a safety concern. We recognize the entrances as well. The construction entrance, again, want to recognize the developers as well. They've done a great job addressing, you know, all of our issues. They've been responsive. They've been thorough. I think they've done as good a job as I've seen communicating with other landowners. So I hope, you know, everyone appreciates kind of the process we went through. This was a very long process, and again, we still have to vote on it, but I think we've beat up a lot of these issues already. And with that being said, I won't extend the public session any longer, so need a motion to close the public hearing.
Unless there's any public comment.
Oh.
The
Yes.
public hearing is open currently.
Yeah. If
Would
you-
you like to speak, Jeanette?
Jeanette, yeah, come on up on
Please
this.
come on up, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we'll have a public hearing just in general as well, but this one obviously is specific to Glen Eagles.
Jeanette DeBarris, 13490 Derby Road in Lamont. I have just two questions, and it pertains to the duplexes that are going to be in this particular subdivision. My two questions are this: I heard all of the discussion with regard to the single-family homes and what size their lots were going to be. However, I never heard what size the lots are going to be for the duplexes. And I know that we have built duplexes before that ended up having 2-foot backyards. I would like to know what the backyards are, the front yards, and the distance between the buildings. Because you have two buildings on basically, a little over 5,000 square feet each. And there's one more, and that is, what about a lot of our duplexes have back porches coming off the back, and I'm wondering if that's what they're going to do with these duplexes too. Because it's a terrible look. I think it's not very nice to have those, especially if you're going to have single-family homes in there. To look at those, there'll be some family homes that'll be looking at those back landings. So if I could have those answers, I'd appreciate it.
Awesome. We'll get you answers right now. Anything else, Jeanette?
Not that I can think of. You
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
I don't like the density. You know that.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeanette, for coming out tonight. Matt, do you want to, or Vince, or one of you guys?
Evening, Mayor, trustees. Vince Rosanova on behalf of Pulte. Answers to the questions: the duplex lots will be 100 foot wide by 130 feet deep. Minimum lot size 13,000, but the average lot size for the duplexes range in the ballpark of 15,000. Front yard setback is going to be 25. The rear yard setback, minimum rear yard setback is 30 feet. In a lot of instances, the duplexes actually back up to an extra buffer area, so more like 50, 60 feet in most instances. And then the distance between each of the homes or the buildings is going to be 20 feet, because each side yard setback is going to be a minimum of 10 feet. As far as the rear condition, we anticipate that each of the homes will have an at-grade patio.
Thanks, Vince.
Hey, Jeanette, we can't hear
Yeah.
you. Maybe you guys can,
Yeah.
there are no.
Stairways,
No
on the
stairways.
duplexes, they have patios.
Okay. All right. Anyone else for public hearing? All right. Okay, with that being said, need a motion to close the public
So
hearing.
moved.
All right, motion to close by trustee Snikowski, seconded by trustee Maher at, I believe it's 6:55 PM. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion is passed. You know what, I forgot to, we have a couple other items under the mayor's mention. It is a month of recognition, and this is always a good month because we get to recognize our staff. From May 1st through May 7th was the Public Service Recognition Week, and we thank all of our essential public service workers and their dedication and hard work that they do each and every day. Also want to thank our village board for your service and dedication to our residents. Also, May 1st through May 7th was the 53rd Annual Professional Municipal Clerks Week, in which we recognize our village clerk, Charlene Smolin. Charlene, unfortunately, she had a little bit of a fall back in January, and she's going through a little bit of a slow recovery, but we wish her nothing but the best. But we really appreciate Charlene for all her hard work and her 37 years of service to our community. So again, we wish her nothing but the best, and we're thinking of her. This week is National Economic Development Week from May 9th through the 13th, Jason. I know you know this. And we recognize our Community Development Department and Director Jason Berry for their role in development planning, inspections, permitting, new business recruitment, business retention, and much more that aids to a greater quality of life in our village. Also, beginning May 15th is National Police Week, which we recognize our Lamont Police Department and Chief Mark Mayton for their role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens in our great community. This role is detrimental to the safety in our community, and we are certainly grateful to our police department for keeping our community safe. We also observe Peace Officers Memorial Day on May 15th in honor of those law enforcement officers who, through their courageous deeds, have lost their lives or have become totally disabled in the performance of their duty, and recognize and pay respect to the survivors of our fallen heroes. In addition, National Public Works Week begins May 15th. We recognize our Public Works Department and our Director, Ralph Pakula, for providing an integral services from maintaining public facilities, our roads, sewer and water systems, trees, vehicles, and emergency services, including our snow removal during the winter months. Our village's health, safety, and comfort greatly depends on the dedicated efforts by our public works staff. So again, we want to thank all of our staff, especially, during this month. Obviously, we have specific weeks that we're honoring them. I think, not that I'm partial at all, but I've been through several communities, talked to other mayors, and I think our staff is second to none. So again, want to thank, the special recognition for the police, the public works, Jason, your department as well. And with that being said, that's it for mayor's mention. So now it's time to move to the clerk's report. Linda, you want to take that, please?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have ordinance O-21-22 authorizing the execution of an annexation agreement for 194.03 acres located at 13070 and 13570 McCarthy Road in Lamont, Illinois, Glen Eagles.
Okay, need a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Stapleton, seconded by trustee McClafferty. Jason, you want to?
Sure, yeah. Not a whole lot to add that wasn't brought at the public hearing there. And as the title says, it's 194 acres, R5A, that's detached and attached, single-family residential for this preliminary plan unit development known as the Glen Eagles subdivision in, I'm proud to say, Lamont, Illinois.
All right.
The proposed subdivision meets the Lamont 2030 Comprehensive Plan. It was recommended unanimously by the Planning and Zoning Commission, and staff recommends approval.
Awesome. And again, this is 194 acres, and the total units is 409.
409.
And what's the math, like 2.1
2.1.
units per
Rick's my
acre?
math guy.
So, all right. With
Count on
that,
trustee Signowski.
all right. With that, any other questions, comments on this one?
Yeah, I'm glad there's 40 acres of open space too.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah.
I like the 3 miles of trails.
I do too.
Yep.
Yeah, and we do appreciate the, upgrading the
Wide
McCarthy Road
trails.
path to 10 feet. We're hopeful long-term to continue the path where we ended it now up near, the Three Corners Plaza. If we can continue it all the way east, we can meet what they're doing. It's going to take time and effort and some federal dollars we're hopeful to secure, but we appreciate them upgrading the path on McCarthy, just trying to make some more connectivity in Lamont. So we're excited. In the park also, getting the park is part of the early stages of the development built out. I think that's going to be huge. We've had other subdivisions, Kettering, for one, where it takes several years to build the park due to not having cash up front. So I think that's going to be a benefit to the subdivision. So
And I'll add, I think our consulting planner deserves a title upgrade. The amount of work she put into this on architecture and anti-monotony was intense and much appreciated. So thanks, Jamie Tate.
Yep. Awesome. And again, excited, about the park. And the 194 acres, does that that excludes even the buffer zone, correct? The 300
Yes,
foot, so.
as most folks know, there's a 300-foot wide buffer strip on the north of the site along McCarthy, along the east of the site, and along the south of the site, next to the Glens of Connemara subdivision.
Awesome. So, again, you know, a lot of cool stuff, and then we encourage, you to dig in. It's online, right, about the park. Is that
Yeah,
close to
everything-
5 acres,
yeah,
and
all
the walking
ordinances
trails?
And everything are always online. All the plans, everything Pulte has submitted to us along the way are online, of course, on this agenda packet, but we also keep it on our development map site. So you can continue to follow along, and we encourage people to continue to follow along, for sure.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. All right. With that being said, roll call, please.
Snagowski,
Yes.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Kittredge,
Yes.
Maher,
Yes.
McClafferty,
Yes.
Shaughnessy.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
Ordinance O-2222, annexing to the Village of Lamont approximately 194.03 acres located at 13070 and 13570 McCarthy Road in Lamont, Illinois, Glen Eagles.
Okay, need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Snagowski, seconded by trustee Kittredge. Jason, anything to add?
Nothing here other than this would annex this property into,
Brings it
Okay.
back to town.
brings it back to town.
All right. Okay, any other questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Snagowski,
Yes.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Kittredge,
Yes.
Maher,
Yes.
McClafferty,
Yes.
Shaughnessy.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
Ordinance O-2322, amending the zoning map of the Village of Lamont from R1 Single Family Detached Residential District to R5A Single Family Detached and Attached Residential District for 194.03 acres located at 13070 and 13570 McCarthy Road in Lamont, Illinois, Glen Eagles.
Okay, need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by trustee McClafferty, seconded by trustee Snagowski. Anything, Jason?
Yeah, just if people are watching, the village default annexation zoning district is R1. So any property that gets annexed into the Village of Lamont, regardless of what it will become, starts with R1. So we pass this ordinance after the annexation to create the zoning needed for the development.
Good point. Okay. All right, roll call, please.
Snagowski,
Yes.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Kittredge,
Yes.
Maher,
Yes.
McClafferty,
Yes.
Shaughnessy.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
Ordinance O-2422, granting a special use for preliminary plan unit development, PUD plan, for plat for a 409-unit detached single-family and duplex subdivision on 194.03 acres located at 13070 and 13570 McCarthy Road in Lamont, Illinois, Glen Eagles.
Need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by trustee Kittredge, seconded by trustee Snagowski. Jason?
Yeah, so all the information we shared in the public hearing at the start of this meeting, the information about anti-monotony, the elevations, the trails, the concrete driveways, all those things, you'll find all those that live in that preliminary PUD plan.
Thanks, Jason. All right, roll call, please.
Snagowski,
Yes.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Kittredge,
Yes.
Maher,
Yes.
McClafferty,
Yes.
Shaughnessy.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
Ordinance O-2522, approving a confirmation of assessment of recapture agreement. I'm sorry, assignment of recapture agreement.
Got it. Need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by trustee Shaughnessy, seconded by trustee McClafferty.
George knows about this.
George?
I stay out of the recapture business.
I'd like to get out of them. Now, the, a little bit of a cleanup item in relation to this development, but also very important. Back in the early 2000s, the developer of the Glens of Connemara extended infrastructure, water and sewer from west of Ruffled Feathers all the way east on R31st to Glens of Connemara. So as part of that, the village approved a recapture agreement for anyone that would be tapping onto that infrastructure. Would be subject to that agreement, they'd have to pay the owner of the recapture agreement. So this first item confirms an assignment of that agreement. And we had, last development, I believe, might have been Copper Ridge, we had a handwritten note or an email that said we agree to a consignment, or assignment. So this just further memorializes that assignment, and it checks out with legal. I know Mike reviewed it as well, so.
Thanks, George. Any other comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Snagowski?
Yes.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Kittredge? Yes. Maher?
Yes.
McClafferty?
Yes.
Shaughnessy?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Ordinance O2622, approving an agreement for full release of recapture rights as to subject property known as the Glen Eagles Golf Course.
Okay, need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by trustee Snagowski, seconded by trustee Kittredge. Jason, anything to add on this?
No, just another, an action item where it'll be a little bit easier on staff. We shouldn't have to do any administration of this recapture. The developer and the beneficiary of the recapture, they've negotiated and settled any amount owed. So this just resolves that one final issue for the land, and we don't have to do anything further.
All right, thanks, George. Okay, roll call, please.
Snagowski?
Yes.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Kittredge?
Yes.
Maher?
Yes.
McClafferty?
Yes.
Shaughnessy?
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
Resolution R1422, approving a final plat for a 19-unit detached single-family, 12-unit duplex attached single-family, and a 48-unit triplex attached single-family residential subdivision on 39 acres located at 100 West New Avenue and 40 Timberline Drive in Lamont, Illinois, Copper Ridge.
Okay, need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion by trustee McClafferty, seconded by trustee Kittredge. Jason?
Yes, before us is the plat for Copper Ridge. The village already has approved the preliminary, or the final PUD for this property at the January 24, 2022 meeting. Due to some engineering issues and agency reviews, the plat wasn't final at that time, so we have to bring the plat in now for approval, and then it will go on to recording.
Awesome. All right, any other questions or comments? Again, we beat this one up as well. I think this goes back probably about 5 or 6 years now, right?
Or we were here.
Yeah, and went through multiple iterations, multiple potential projects, developments from, I think, what was the height of it? Was it 400 units or a couple hundred unit? Two something, 275, yeah. So again, we've gone back and forth, and again, want to thank staff and, because there has been a lot of iterations of this, and I think similar to what we just talked about, I think we've done as thorough as we could as far as the due diligence on this and getting this up to speed and making it the best possible project that it could be. And, I understand with neighbors close to there, it's not what they want, and I understand that. And we continue to have, anytime there's unincorporated area that's now being sold, there's going to be some differences of opinion, and we respect that. And I hope we did as best as possible as far as making this the best possible development. I think we have. But again, want to thank staff and Jason and your time, and, as well as the developer and as well as the residents around Timberline as well. We respect them for coming out, respect their opinions, and, again, I hope they understand we're trying to make this, the best possible development. So with that being said, any other questions, comments on this? Roll call, please.
Snagowski?
Yes.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Kittredge?
Yes.
Maher?
Yes.
McClafferty?
Yes.
Shaughnessy?
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
Resolution R1522, approving an intergovernmental agreement for a school resource officer with Lamont Bromberg Combined School District 113A.
Need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we had a motion by trustee Shaughnessy, seconded by trustee McClafferty. Who's taking this, Chief?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. As discussed at one of the previous COW meetings, the Lamont Bromberg School District 113A has approached us about having a school resource officer assigned to the school district, primarily to the middle school, It's similar to the agreement that we have with the high school for several years. At the time, the board had asked us to draft an intergovernmental agreement, and we have done that. That's in your packet. It is substantially similar to the one that we have with the high school. The thing that we added after some feedback from the board was some compensation for the maintenance of the vehicle each year. So that's really the only difference right now at the high school. It will be for reimbursement of 70% of the actual salary and fringe benefits for the 9 months that he does spend in the school district. We have identified an officer to place in the school. I think you all met him at the awards ceremony last fall. He was our Officer of the Year, John Lauricella. I think he'll do a good job there. The Bromberg School District signed the agreement at their board meeting 2 weeks ago, and the staff recommends that we enter into that agreement. It has can be terminated by 30 days' notice by either party through the course of it, and I think it'll be a good program for both the police department and the school district.
Thanks, Chief. Any other questions or comments?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I'd like to commend School District 113A for approaching the village for a partnership with law enforcement in the school at a time in our country when many communities turned their back on law enforcement and actually wanted to pass legislation to ban the police from the schools, that our school district here in Lamont had the foresight and the will to come forward and actually embrace a partnership. So I'd like to thank them. I know it's going to be a successful program. I know the chief's done a great job with the high school, and will continue into the grammar school where it, believe it or not, even with children that age, police presence does make a difference. So thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Any other comments? All right, roll call, please.
Snagowski.
Yes.
Stapleton.
Yes.
Kittredge.
Yes.
Maher.
Yes.
McClafferty.
Yes.
Shaughnessy.
Yes.
Motion approved.
And the last one, I think, yep, the
No.
last one. Resolution R-1622, approving business district improvement grants for the April 2022 cycle in Lamont, Illinois.
Need a motion, please.
So move. Second.
All right, we have a motion by trustee Stapleton, seconded by trustee McClafferty. Jason, are you taking this one?
Yeah.
We got a busy night tonight.
Yeah, I've been busy. It's Economic Development Week. I gotta earn my keep here in Lamont. But, yeah, what a great way to celebrate that and recognize
You can
it.
see your beard growing.
You can see it, yes.
He was at a business retention meeting right before the meeting, right?
It was. So, yeah, we have, this wraps up the fiscal year with our grant program, very successful, obviously. We've leveraged millions of dollars in redevelopment in the downtown, and those efforts show. And you got to go out there on Saturday, not only Quarryman, but also the deck here, which is on for a reimbursement grant. And we're also proud to fill a vacant storefront and have Road Beauty Hair Company open up on Stevens Street. They were required to do some significant improvements by the Fire Protection District and the Accessibility Code, both of which are eligible expenses for this grant. So all the expenses have been submitted, the projects are done, and bringing it back to the board for approval.
Thanks, Jason. Any other questions or comments?
Are they gonna get the clock to work too?
We're working on getting the clock to work, yeah. There's the neat old Lamont sign in the basement as well that I have my eye on from when it was a bank, so.
I have one question. Is this part of the TIF district money?
Yes,
or is this,
yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, this is all in the I&M Canal, I&M TIF.
Got it. All right, thanks, Jason. All right, roll call, please.
Snagowski.
Yes.
Stapleton.
Yes.
Kittredge.
Yes.
Maher.
Yes.
McClafferty.
Yes.
Shaughnessy.
Yes.
All right, motion approved. All right.
That is all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Linda. All right, next up, Mike, anything for the village attorney report?
Only thing, Mr. Mayor, is it's been a busy couple of months working with staff and Pulte and their council, but pleased to see all of our hard work come to fruition. Thank you.
Great. All right. George, you got anything? Administrator report.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple quick items. We do have, as I mentioned earlier, a committee of the whole on Monday. We are going to be talking about the two items that we tabled here tonight regarding the water tower bid that we received, and it'll be a good comprehensive summary of the process from here and then also going forward. We also have we just completed, we have a very close to final draft of the downtown civic space and parking study. We partnered with CMAP. Jason did a lot of great work, and the rest of staff to look at the parking needs and the downtown civic space needs. So I think it's been a couple years in the making. So we'll go through that draft report as well, and then perhaps approve their recommendations soon thereafter. But that'll be at the committee of the whole meeting. We'll have a board meeting again at the end of the month, so we'll get that information out. The one thing I wanted to just be able to pass along some good news on, trying to keep some costs down for our residents with everything else going up. Our aggregation consultant, if you recall, several months ago, we, as a board, decided to work with our consultant to continue the aggregation program. If you recall, years ago, there was a lot of great savings and successes regarding pooling the entire town's electric load, going out to bid on behalf of the community, and reducing our costs from ComEd. Over the years, it's become a little bit less beneficial, but we chose to continue that program one more time for another 2-year program. Based on ComEd's new rate that they are publishing, the savings are going to be more significant than what we had thought. They projected a $75 a year per household savings. It's going to be over $180 at a minimum. So significant savings by able to lock in that rate with everything else going up. So we'll get together again in another year or so. We have another year left on the program to decide if we want to continue. But good news, we'll try to get that word out too. If you've gone to ComEd, you can always come back. You just have to move forward with a couple steps, and we can help you out with that. But we were able to secure a lower rate than ComEd. So go ahead.
George and Ann, when I have
Yep.
an additional comment, I remember seeing some published comments potentially in the patch. I can't remember exactly where I saw it, but talking about getting pricing and those things. I think it'd be worth our while to take a look at putting out a press release saying this and publishing it in the patch.
Good idea. Yeah. We can do
Yeah,
that.
good idea.
We'll work with Linda on getting something out.
And
There was
talk about
another
how,
positive note
Yeah.
you sent us too. What was the other one?
The bond,
Yes,
or savings.
that's right. And
Yeah, I mean, some of it's, lucky timing, but, in looking at the bond for the water tower project, we issued $7 million end of January. If you recall, our bond counsel, Bernardi, or our bond underwriter, was really pushing us to meet those deadlines. Even a difference of 3 weeks meant thousands of dollars of savings.
But those decisions
yeah.
were made
Correct.
with that
Yep.
in mind. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
these aren't like rolling the dice and taking a shot. It was intended to be done that way, and it was successful.
Correct.
So I think many times you get beat up for what's not successful. I think we ought to put out a press
Yeah.
release about, hey, this
Yeah.
was done in good faith and it worked.
Yeah, I think the point that they knew that the rates were going up. They didn't know they were going to go up that much, but, I think we'll be able to get that information out as well.
Great.
all right, thanks, George. All right, any board reports at all?
I think
Yes.
Trustee Shaughnessy had one.
Yeah, I'd just like to offer our condolences to Pat O'Brien. Many of you who've been around the village for a while have known Pat. I just want to read a little bit about his obituary. Pat O'Brien, age 80, of Lamont, passed away Saturday, April 30th, with his wife Pat at his side. Pat was an active member of his community. He's a former Lamont Village trustee, a member of the Chamber of Commerce, a longtime member and past president of the Lamont Lions Club, winner of the prestigious Melvin Jones Award. Pat was a familiar face around town and a longtime co-owner of the Carousel with his brother Mike. When not actively doing community work, Pat could be found golfing, cheering on the Sox, the Hawks, the Bears, and any team playing against the Chicago Cubs. I'd just like to offer again our condolences to his family. He's a Lamonter, he's put a lot of sweat and tears into the village, saw it grow to be what it is today. Always had a smile on his face. I came to know him at the Carousel. I've learned that there are 3 iconic places in Lamont. There are probably a lot more, but I'll give you 3. One is the Nick's Hamburgers. Of course, the other one I got, now I'm having a brain lapse here. But the carousel was the third one. The carousel, any young person that grew up in the last 50 years knew about the carousel. But Pat and his brother Mike operated that for a long time, and they were, I think, very involved in the community, and wish his family our condolences. Now, you got to help me with the second. What's our second?
Dolce? I don't know.
No,
There you go.
no, huh?
I was going to have you describe the carousel.
The carousel, we won't discuss. Who else we got?
Could be
Tom's. Tom's.
All right,
Yeah.
that's right.
So places that been around forever. Of course, the carousel yielded to a newer business, but Tom's, I apologize to him too. But, three iconic places, Carousel was part of them. Carousel was a unique place, part of the history of Lamont, what Lamont used to be, and where we're at today, obviously a little different. But Pat's a good man, and we'll miss him.
And Pat and Mike grew up in, I think it was referred to as Stray 80. How about it, Jerry? So they grew up basically Bluff Road and Route 83. Up by where the Clark station is, in that area. That was called Stray 80. I don't know why, I just know that's what it was called.
Well, our condolences to
think so.
the O'Brien family. I think everyone on this board knows their family, and we wish them nothing but the best. I loved hearing the stories from Tim about, anything from, what was it, beach volleyball outside to, the good old days.
Softball tournament in the back before school was there.
There's a music video.
Good old
too.
carousel.
There's a music video.
That's right. They filmed Kid Rock video there, too. But again, we're thinking of the O'Brien family as well. Thanks, Kevin. Any other comments? Okay. Next, any staff reports? Chief, you have anything for us?
Yeah, a couple things, Mr. Mayor, thank you. I appreciate you mentioning and acknowledging Police Memorial Week and recognizing our department. Just one comment, in that ceremony that will occur next Sunday in Washington, there are 12 Illinois officers that will be put up on that wall that lost their lives in 2021, and so keep them and their families in our prayers. A quick mention about the Quarryman. So the Quarryman race was run on Saturday. Had about 800 runners. It went off very well. We had great weather and no issues. And I want to thank the other municipalities that came in with their emergency management folks and came and helped us out, and the other volunteers for that race. Lastly, May is also Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. It's a U.S. Department of Transportation awareness campaign that they put out every yeed, and the focus this year is just to have folks pay attention and see motorcycles, especially when they're making turns. I looked up, tried to find some stats from last year, and I couldn't see the 2021 stats yet, but in 2020, there were almost 5,600 motorcycle fatalities in the United States, which was an 11% increase from the previous year. In a year when there were very little traffic due to COVID, and motorcyclists are 28 times more likely to die in a vehicle crash than a motorist in any other type of vehicle. So it's something to keep in mind for the folks that are riding motorcycles. You really got to pay attention, and for everybody else to watch them, because most fatalities are the fault of the other driver, not the motorcyclist. Thank you,
Thanks,
Mr. Mayor.
Chief. And again, Quarryman, Dave, you ran it, correct?
I did.
All right, we're not going to ask you your time. All I know is you finished it, and that's
finished it.
impressive in itself, so.
We did first year on the 10 miler, so it's a lot harder than the 5K, I'll tell you that much.
No, we're lucky. The weather was awesome, and want to thank all the volunteers in the Park District. They took it over from the village, and we thank them for that. They do a first-class job, and again, it was a great day. Hopefully, people were able to enjoy it, and it's always the first Saturday in May, correct? All right,
Well, Mother's Day weekend.
Mother's Day weekend, okay.
Just tag it with that.
Okay, there you go. All right. Okay, next up, any new or old unfinished business?
I've got an item, I don't know whether to call it unfinished or new, but it's come to me a couple times, so I want to get it on the table for future consideration. This goes back to our emerald ash borer tree removal program. At that time, we also talked about considering in the future replacement of those trees. So we've had a number of windfalls that have come our way over the last couple of years. I know our main concern is to take a look at the pension, which we always talk about as being, the thorn in our side. But in addition to that, there's some things we just need to keep close touch on within town that we've talked about in the past. So I want to try to put some kind of estimate together, maybe a timeline of 1 to 5 years on some type of replacement for the emerald ashes that were removed within the parkway. People, it's an obligation you
the
have to do when
sidewalk
you
and-
build.
Yeah, street, yeah.
It's a donation to the village at the time of construction. We took them out. I really don't think it's fair to expect people to replace those. A lot haven't, but many are asking, hey, are we ever gonna put those trees back? The circles are in the front. So I think we ought to take a look at that.
Aren't we doing, I think we're doing that every year.
I don't know that we've had a program of
So-
replacement.
There's 30 were replaced this year, I know.
So
Okay.
I think you're talking, we could
Well, if there's
potentially.
grants or something available that we can look at now with some of the green initiatives that are going out of Washington,
My three on last week.
I think we can-
Last week was tree week for Public
I think we
Works.
can
Damn,
freshen
I
up,
planted my own,
I
so.
planned my own too.
maybe we can freshen up the program by just, getting the word out, because I know Ralph took the night off today, but
Yeah.
one issue he has had is that he runs into homeowners who don't want trees. So that's something that, as a board, we have to decide, are we gonna put it in places that people don't want them, or we just put it back out? Do you want a parkway tree
Well-
that was destroyed by emerald ash borer? If you do, we'll put you on the list and we could put more dollars towards it, because
I think they're all
I think at one time, we had a 50-50 plan too, and, that might be some, because people have to come forward and have a want. I mean, so, do we want to make it an obligation? Then I think
Yeah.
it's on us. Do we want to, do people
It should be a
request it,
requirement.
If it's a requirement, can it, yeah, then,
And there is a waiting list
Okay.
also for that. Public Works have a waiting list for replacing them.
well, then whatever, I don't remember all this
we
stuff,
should add
so
to
I
it,
think
though.
we should
Yeah.
revisit it. That's my only
Okay,
point.
I'll revisit it. I'll talk to Ralph.
Okay,
Good idea.
all right. Okay, with that being said, let's move on. George, audience participation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We had the public hearing on the annexation agreement. That was one section specific to that agenda item, but this is the ongoing agenda item we have on every board meeting for public comment, or, so now's the time if anyone has any comment, or Jeanette, Jerry, anybody else in the crowd who would like to speak, now's the time. You can come up to the podium if you could, just state your name clearly so that Linda can get the minutes recorded correctly, and we'll go from there.
Hi, my name is Marge Gerstikas, and I'm from the Knowles, Covington Knowles Association. I'm on the board for our subdivision. First of all, I'd like to ask the gentleman who was talking about the annexing. Is the annexing done?
Is that for the Glen Eagles subdivision?
Yes.
Yeah, the annexation agreement was approved tonight, along with the rezoning and the preliminary plat.
And
was approved tonight.
so, how many houses are going to be built?
409, the plan is approved for.
Okay, and when will that start?
It's good, wish we would have asked the developer that, but we could follow up. I know they're looking to move forward, and the next step will be final planning unit development they have to apply for. So they have their entitlements preliminarily, but they need to prove up final engineering, submit that to our office. We have to review it. They have to get final permits from the different regional agencies. So they are moving forward, Jason, fairly quickly.
Yeah.
That might, yeah, probably within the month they'll file, and then it'll be back in front of the planning and zoning and the village board, end of summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sir, you were talking about some kind of a $75 reduction for family, and you mentioned ComEd. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's our aggregation pro. So if you were, this is for your power bill. The bills will continue to come from ComEd. However, towns can choose, to, on your behalf, essentially bid out the supply portion. So that on your bill, if you did nothing, you would have been put into this program and it saved you dollars. So you don't have to do anything further. You can opt out and go back to ComEd and pay more if you'd like, but if you do nothing, you'll remain in the program.
Okay, so if we stay where we are.
You're good.
We are experiencing $75 a year savings.
It's actually going to be, that was the projected saving. It'll be closer to about 180
Oh,
in your supply from the ComEd rate.
That'll make up for maybe one filling at the gas station now, right?
okay.
Can only control so much, yeah.
If that.
Yeah.
So, I would just like to ask the board a question. Have you been approached about possibly acquiring a retention pond and a detention pond in Ember Terrace?
Not that I'm aware of. No. Which, Amberwood, you mean? Amberwood?
It's Ember Terrace. It's part of Covington Knolls. And it's between Archer and State. And it's right next door to where Gallagher and Henry are building now.
I don't think so. Do you know, Jason, anything?
By the Lithuanian complex there, that pond?
Yes,
is that-
sir.
Okay.
No. I mean, I know
Oh,
they changed the topography, they leveled it off. What, you guys, let us take a look so we understand exactly what you're talking about and we'll,
Yeah,
well, we
you
can
know,
talk
there-
after the meeting potentially.
The retention pond is the wetlands. And
Yeah.
then we have
Oh,
a
okay, got it.
detention pond, okay, that overlooks my condo. And that's where Mr. Gallagher is going to be doing work. And, with the infrastructure to connect us, to share the water flow.
Yeah, we'll check into it. We'll see if our engineer had any correspondence, Jason, anything ring a bell or?
Yeah, because supposedly our lawyers were talking to your lawyers, and I was just wondering
Al
what the
Damascus, remember?
status was.
I'll send you an email, yeah.
Let us
Actually, I
follow
haven't-
up if you can
I'm
leave
looking
contact.
through- We haven't heard anything since November.
This is our attorney right here, Mike.
It's our attorney, yeah.
I have some information, but it kind of went silent since the November, middle of November, so I can look into it more and I'll let the administrator know and we can go from there.
That would be greatly appreciated.
You're welcome.
And just one final thing, okay? We met with Gallagher and Henry, and he basically will be kind of tearing up our detention pond to achieve what he needs to achieve. Okay, and that's a done deal. However, we were told that the Metropolitan Water Reclamation Department came out with a new ruling saying that the detention pond bottom cannot be replaced with grass. Okay, and they said that they came out with a new ordinance and said you can't use sod anymore. Right now, our entire retention pond is a beautiful sod. And so I called the department and I was asking, if he could explain to me a little bit better about the ordinance. And he said, "What ordinance?" He said, "We have no such ordinance." So there was kind of talk, maybe they were going to replace our sod with stones, and things like that. And so we are very, very much against that. And when we found out that the Reclamation Department didn't come out with that kind of an ordinance, that we can't have, they said, Oh, it applies to all Lamont. And they said absolutely not.
Let us,
So they're saying, as long, we can do whatever we want as long as it doesn't impede the flow of the water.
yeah, let us check in. I mean, for new construction, they do have new rules and regulations, their new watershed management ordinance. We hear about it at all of those meetings with MWRD, and, but it's typically for new construction. You're not allowed to have grass bottom, you have to be more natural. But for modifications and existing, let us check into that as well.
Okay, but like, that's true what you're saying for the trenches.
Yeah,
But the permit, I saw the permit that Gallagher had gotten from the department. And it said that the trenches need plants, but this does not apply to the bottom of the detention pond. So.
okay.
So, yeah, I would appreciate,
So, so the
Yeah.
bottom line is, you would like to see it
Stay the same.
replaced the way it is,
Yeah,
after the connections are made,
Change.
is that correct?
it's beautiful.
Yeah, and you-
Yes,
you don't want it to.
So
okay.
you would like, they make their connections and put it back the way it was.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
And we might be able to communicate
We may be
that
able
on
to
your
do
behalf.
that. That's what he's gonna check on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like, I mean, we've taken care of it for years and years and years. And, it's beautiful. We pay for the landscaping, everything. And so now, if we don't have the same replacement, then,
Yeah, ma'am, if you could leave your contact information with Linda, and so Mike and I have a call with Al tomorrow on another topic, so Al Damascus is the attorney, so we'll bring it up to him.
okay.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right. Okay.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks for coming out.
It's good to know what's going on in our place, right?
Absolutely.
In Lamont. And how do you know if you don't come?
That's right.
Exactly.
Well, thank you.
I wish 10 more of you would come.
I'm looking at
Two.
Yeah.
good job, Mike, on the agreement. I have it in front of me for the lots from, there's an ordinance from 2000, so we have to dig our way through this one. I don't see any names that I recognize on here, so.
Okay. All right. Next up, no executive session tonight, correct?
Correct.
All
Right.
right.
So with that being said, need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by trustee Stapleton, seconded by trustee Maher. Roll call, please.
Snagowski.
Yes.
Stapleton.
Yes.
Kittredge.
Yes.
Maher.
Yes.
Clapperty.
Yes.
Shaughnessy.
Yes.
All right, motion approved, and want to thank everyone for coming out this evening, and everyone have a great week ahead.
Thank you.